Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fabien Frenay. I'm the sales director for Altitude Software. And what I would like to do in my session is to share with you my vision about the trends in the contact center industry, and more specifically regarding the customer service. Because I strongly believe that we have to rethink the customer service as we know it. And so the question is, why do we have to rethink it? What are the new rules that are actually going to be part of the game in the next years? And I want to present a few elements. And one of the elements that you will certainly agree with me is the growing impact of social media. Social media is impacting, on one hand, the reputation of our businesses. And you will all agree with me that on platforms like Facebook and Contacti, companies are being destroyed or blessed every day. A second thing is that social media, if you like it or not, it's impacting the sales results of a business. And this is something very sensitive, because when management, they hear sales results, then suddenly they are interested to do something with it. So companies are now starting to worry about what is their social media footprint. And because of the social media and because of the fact that the people, they are interconnected all the time, companies, they are forced to be more transparent. It makes no sense anymore to hide information from your customer, because when you hide the information from the customer, at some point they will find out. And when it comes back to you, it will come back like a boomerang and it will hit you very hard. So it's better to communicate in an open way and to be prepared to immediately change your strategies. I'm from Belgium, and last year we had in Belgium and Netherlands a bank who was launching a campaign. They wanted to recruit new customers, and the campaign basically was very simple. You had to open an account at the bank. You had to deposit your monthly salary to that account, and then you were receiving for the first 6 months a bonus of about around 50 euro, or so in total it was like 300-400 euro that you could earn. A successful campaign, you would say. Until the moment that one of the existing customers of that bank posted a message on Facebook saying, "Hey, I'm a customer for 30 years. For 30 years, I'm already depositing my monthly salary. This is a discrimination." And this message on Facebook was, in just a couple of hours, it was liked more than 1,000 times. In a couple of days, they had more than 100,000 shares and likes. The bank was forced to review immediately its strategy. And finally, there is a third element which is different, which is the economical rules as we know it in the previous century. They are not working today anymore. We have all seen the financial meltdown of the markets, and now we have to rebuild it. But we have to rebuild it with the new rules. And what is the new rule? It's no longer the big company who will beat the small company, but it's the fast company who will beat the slow. So, because of all these changing rules, the question that I would like to answer during this session is, how can you differentiate? Knowing these new rules, knowing this new game, what can you do with your contact centers to be different than the others and to be better than the others? Before going into the advice, I have a question on which you can vote. So you have to imagine that we are going to talk about customer service. So the question here is, would you be prepared to pay more, even just a little bit more, just to receive a better customer service? So counting down for the results. Actually, this is a study which has been conducted by Forrester. And actually, the answer already has been given this morning for those who were very attentive in one of the sessions. They could see, and indeed it proves, because Vincent, he announced this morning that it was about 80% of the people being prepared to spend more money if actually they get a better service. So this is actually very important information, because it makes, for all of you, it makes worth making investments in customer service. And what kind of investments can you do? I would like to use a metaphor to explain you that. If you would imagine that your customers are the kings, then I would say that the customer experience they have would be the queen. Because the queen works for businesses like it works for chess players. The queen is the most strategic piece in the play. It's the most important asset of your game. And to continue with the metaphor, you could see a contact center like a restaurant. Why do you go to a restaurant? Well, to have good food. You don't go to a restaurant because of the cleanliness of the kitchen or the lavatory. However, if you go to have a good food and you have a very bad experience with the hygiene in the kitchen or the cleanliness of the lavatory, for sure you will not go to that restaurant anymore. Customer service is the restaurant of your business. And exactly for that reason, we have to be constantly monitoring. And it's not enough anymore to monitor on quarterly, monthly, or weekly basis. No, you have to monitor on daily basis. Remember the example of the bank in the Netherlands? In 1 week time, they had to cancel a several million euro marketing campaign. So, no time to wait for the monthly management review. No, you have to take that decision on almost daily basis. Every business is different. That's why you have to customize your KPIs. The standard reports of your call center technology will not do it for you. You need to have a call center technology which will enable you to customize the reports, to build your own dashboards. And you have to do that not for a specific campaign, but for all the services that you are offering to your customers. A customer can be part of a debt collection campaign, a telemarketing campaign, a customer service program. You have to consolidate the information. And only with this way, you will be able to prove to your management that your contact center is not a cost center, but a value center. If you speak the language of the management, which basically is numbers, they will understand you. The second way to differentiate is to unify your channels. What do we mean with that? For many years, we have been talking on events like this about multi-channel. And the trend actually started when we started to use email and chat on top of the telephony channel. But today, this trend is being accelerated by the use of social media and smartphones. Because there is something different between smartphones and social media compared to the email and the chat. The difference is it's always available, it's always connected. And the real killer, the real question here is having customers who are contacting you through IVRs, email, chats, social media. The real question is, how can we manage the customer history? Because it will not be enough to just draw a report on how many emails did that customer send. No, you have to see it across all the channels. And why is that? For a very simple reason, that communication is not multi-channel. It's agile communication. And what does it mean? It means that people are using multiple channels within the same interaction. Let me give you an example. Previously, the marketing departments, they would profile your customers and they would say, this profile will prefer to have 2 callers. The other profile will prefer to communicate via email, and the new generations, they will prefer to do chat. This is no longer true because everybody is using everything at the same time. Example, I'm surfing on a website. I'm interested for a product. I will start a chat session with an agent. During the chat, the agent will propose to me to go to a live call. In the live call, I will be transferred to an IVR if I have to make a secure payment, and at the end of the conversation, I will receive my contract via email. Within the same interaction, I'm using all the channels at the same time. You need a technology which is able and capable of managing that simultaneously. And then the third possibility to change, to differentiate, is the mobility. We believe that in 2013, the number of mobile users and smartphones will double again. And with it, the speed at which we download applications, apps. And most of us will be using smartphones. Most of us, they know apps, and you know apps, we use it for our needs and for our lifestyle. You name something, and I'm quite sure that there will be an app that will exist for it. And this will be the trend. And apps can be used for support requests, can be used to order stuff, can be used to make complaints, and so on. And the big advantage of the app is that, again, it's always connected. You always have it with you. It's even more flexible than, for example, the websites that we have. And what we believe is that the apps, they will actually be replacing the IVR systems. IVR, it's always a difficult discussion because for some applications, I'm fully convinced that IVR is a great application. But at the same time, you will have a lot of people who don't like IVRs. IVRs is sometimes, at the same time, when it is for us professionals in the business, it's a very practical tool. But if you ask people on the street, sometimes they hate IVRs. They hate going through a menu of so many choices and so on. And what we believe is that the applications, the smartphone apps, they will be perhaps slowly, perhaps more faster than we think, replacing the traditional IVR systems. Because basically everything you can do with an IVR, you can do it with a mobile application. You can select the service or the service for which you need support. You can perfectly choose it from an app. And an app can even add additional information to it. No need to enter your customer number via the telephone. Because when you have downloaded the app and you have set it up, all your contact details, your customer number will already be part of the app. An app can also add additional information to the system. Let me take the example of an insurance company. Imagine that you are driving on the highway and your car breaks down. Or even worse, you have a car accident. What do you have to do? You have to call your insurance company. A lot of people, when they had an accident, they're actually panicking. They're confused. So the information that at that time they give to the insurance company is sometimes not correct. Or even worse, imagine that you're really panicking and then you call a number and then you end up with an IVR asking you questions. You will be pissed. A mobile app can add actually a lot of information, and it can be user-friendly. For example, it will automatically send your GPS location of your car to the contact center. So you don't have to worry to explain to the insurance agent where exactly you are. The app will do it in your place. So don't get me wrong here. I'm a big defender of this trend of mobile applications and so on, even about self-service, but I do not believe in the Amazon.com model. Because the Amazon.com model, it's when you do a request and you will never reach a human agent. I'm not in favor of that. In some cases, self-service can be handy, yes, but I believe that in all occasions, somebody should have the possibility to connect with a live agent. I also believe that for example, in sales environments, when you want to close a deal, having a human contact will definitely give you a higher and a bigger chance to close the deal. And then finally, I want to talk about websites. Because mobile apps, you still need a lot of development, perhaps, to be there. But websites, you all have a website. So why don't you make websites more interactive? Because what I see websites like a real shop. When I'm going into a shopping mall and I'm going into a shop, I'm looking around. At some point, somebody will come to me and they will ask me, "Hello, sir, can I help you?" Why don't we do that on websites? On websites, the most of us, they're just placing a button, "Call me back." So we are waiting in the call center until somebody asks us something. Now, we should ask the customer proactively. And for that, I have again a question for you. So the question is the following. You are all sitting here as call center specialists, but each of us is also a customer. So imagine now yourself being a customer shopping online. And you are so close on buying a product, but you just have some hesitation. You just need a couple of answers to a few questions. So then, excuse me? You don't have okay. So then we will do it with raise the hands. If you are on the website and you need support, who from you is expecting instant support immediately? Well, I'm not going to count it, but it looks to me a majority of the room. And this is the point I was trying to make. Because indeed, and this has been proven also in studies, that 60% of people, they abandon a website if they cannot find immediate support. And moreover, more than 50% of the people, they claim that they are more likely to buy a product when they actually come in contact with a human agent. So what we need to do is make our websites more interactive. And the final statement I want to make today is about proactivity. Just to resume the presentation, we face challenging times, changes. We have to rethink our customer service. There were several ways to differentiate. The first one was measure, report on daily basis to adapt your strategy. Unify your channels, multi-channel, agile communication. Yeah. Introduction of mobile applications was the third element. And the fourth element I'm presenting to you is proactivity. And previously, they used to say, you know what, just develop a good product. It will sell itself. Deliver a good service, the customers will come to you. I'm not trying to minimize the importance of product development, but what I believe that in the end, it's only the law of the jungle that rules. And if we look at what is the law of the jungle today, it's the one who screams the loudest and who is the fastest. That's the one who will get the customers. So what I'm trying to say is be proactive. You have to make sure that you grab the customers before your competitor is grabbing them. You have to do that, obviously, but by adopting real-time methods and revising your strategy on a daily basis. And also, you have to think about the expression, time is money. And we all know time is money. That's valid for businesses. Now, you have to respect your customer. And the time of your customer is also very valid. And I don't think it would be fair to put a customer for minutes and minutes and minutes in a queue. No, be proactive and present the customer, for example, a callback option instead of putting him so long on hold. It may cost you a little bit of money because you have to call him back, but I strongly believe that making that investment, you will get it back in terms of customer loyalty. And customer loyalty will bring you more money. And the final point, and that's where I want to conclude the presentation, is by saying we have to use outbound in typical inbound environments. What does it mean? Basically, it means that when we are doing inbound, when we are doing customer service, we're only thinking about servicing the customer. That's a good thing, but again, not good enough. Think a little bit further. Think about cross-selling, upselling opportunities. Again, according to a study of Forrester, they interviewed a number of companies, and it turns out that in more than 50% of all the customer interactions that companies are doing, they are not generating any additional revenue. So there is still a lot of potential to be taken in customer care to turn it into a value for you. And that was exactly the purpose of this presentation, turning the contact center from a cost center into a value center. Now, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about the trends in the contact center industry, I invite you for a small visit to the booth of Altitude Software, where you can pick up your free copy of the Contact Center Trends till 2015. Thank you.